So with the first Mortal Kombat film's box office success and somewhat critical success, and Annihilation's sort of success with one of those two, is only natural they would try their hand at a Mortal Kombat TV series. Okay, that wasn't natural at all, but they did it anyway. It's Mortal Kombat Conquest. So with Mortal Kombat Conquest, I'm going to take a look at every single episode of its single season run, which starts with the two-parter Warrior Eternal. Mortal Kombat Conquest, sometimes spelt with a K and sometimes a C. I think there was a reason behind that? Maybe the show just felt more in spirit with the K-ness of Mortal Kombat sometimes. I don't know. Mortal Kombat Conquest was a sort of prequel to Mortal Kombat in general, but really, trying to fit Conquest's story in with anything else in the Mortal Kombat universe is kinda tricky. So you know how there are two different Sub-Zeros, right? And you're saying, why the hell would I know that, and what's the point? Well, there are also two different Kung Laos! That's not confusing, right? Well, the difference here is that, one of the Sub-Zeros died and the other didn't. One of the Kung Laos died and the other didn't. The Kung Lao in the games had an ancestor also named Kung Lao, and he thought he was pretty great, so he called himself the Great Kung Lao, and that is the character in this series, though he doesn't actually call himself the Great Kung Lao in it. So we only know that it's that Kung Lao because it takes place in olden times. When exactly? I don't know, back when people used to take their camels for walks and stuff. Mortal Kombat Conquest is the combination of some actually pretty good ideas and some really, really awful ones, and I enjoy it for both, so let's get into this. Conquest gets us right into a Mortal Kombat tournament, with Raiden explaining that the tournament is the way that the Earthrealm defends itself from becoming part of Shao Kahn's Outworld. And oh look, the reptile statue came to see the tournament. Why yes, Conquest does like to use Mortal Kombat film footage for stock footage.
Finish him! Your soul is mine.
Well, I like that line is still there, but come on, Bruce Locke, you need to ham your Shang Tsung up a bit more.
Your soul is mine.
Kung Lao comes out dressed up very much like Kung Lao, but guess what? He takes that hat off and it never shows up again. In fact, the only thing from this outfit he usually wears are the pants. And Raiden's, Raiden hat there? Yeah, this will be the only appearance of it as well. Even Shao Kahn wears a different skull mask for the remainder of the series. Guess Conquest was trying to say they only dress up that way for tournaments? The one I really don't get is Shao Kahn. Is the other mask his casual mask? And then it's tournament day, gotta dress nice, helmet time, and the good mask. Fight! So like in the movies before it, Conquest goes with a very techno-heavy soundtrack, and sometimes, like during the fights here, it works fine, but there are parts, especially earlier on in this series, where it overuses the techno beats and has them playing over conversation scenes where it really doesn't fit. And like most things in Conquest, the fights either look pretty good or just awful. The ones that turned out well were aided by the fact that there were some actual martial artists in the main cast, being Daniel Bernhardt and Jeffrey Meek. Other roles in the series got filled by martial artists as well, but the one that wasn't, that seems kinda odd to me, was Kung Lao being the central character and all. But at least they got a golfer to play Shang Tsung.
Pathetic or not, your soul is mine.
Well, Kung Lao retreats into his inner music video, and we see one of the other things Conquest will give us in abundance: scantily clad women and stilted acting.
This is not the end, Kung Lao. Your strength is in me, and mine in you.
Oh, and Conquest is taking it easy on us here. We'll get far more gratuitous later on. On both of those aspects, actually.
Very clever.
Ah, yes, you stopped me from stealing your soul. Clever indeed. Only someone as brilliant as Kung Lao would think that, maybe I should keep my soul.
Finish him.
When the next tournament comes, remember what you saw here today. The people of Earth are not murderers. In respect of the Elder Gods and the laws of Mortal Kombat, I choose mercy.
Nice speech.
Oh yes, Conquest, unlike Stupid Annihilation, actually kept Raiden's jokey side, which I think is a nice plus, and I really enjoy Jeffrey Meek's portrayal of Raiden. And one of the more serious aspects of the show that I enjoyed as well was them taking a look into the downside of being the Mortal Kombat champion.
So you want me to just turn away from everything? What about my dreams of happiness with Jen? Do you want me to give up my whole life?
There are rewards. The Elder Gods have granted that you will not age another day until the next tournament.
Tell me, Raiden, would you rather be old and happy, or young and cursed?
Now, this is Mortal Kombat Conquest, so it doesn't exactly get too deep with this issue, but I do appreciate the subplot existing.
If my future is unwritten like you say, then I'll write it the way I want from now on.
Though sometimes it seems like Paulo Montalban is on the verge of a temper tantrum if he doesn't get what he wants. And then we meet the greatest Mortal Kombat character ever. Well, he's second only to Husho. Zero, a bodyguard. Yep, he's a bodyguard. Ta-da! Don't worry, he'll be a fully developed character by the time the series is over. At the Palace of Really Fake Lightning, we are properly introduced to Shao Kahn's casual wear, and again, I personally would have rather just seen him dressed as he was in the opening scene throughout the series, but the casual Kahn mask isn't too bad, and it's not just some bald guy crying about his daddy issues, so this is a vast improvement over the other live-action Shao Kahn. And guess what? Not only is he not made into a bald crying little wiener boy, he's actually made quite imposing.
End this now.
How dare you beg for death!
And he's played very well by Jeffrey Meek. Yes, that Jeffrey Meek. Why does he play both?
Because we're brothers. No, we are not.
No idea, actually. But he does a good job with both roles, so no real complaints. And it really is covered up pretty well that this is the same actor playing two parts, something usually not done very well. It makes the production seem kinda cheap when it's obvious. Yeah, I know, right? Shut up. Next up, we get our introduction to who will become another one of our main characters of the series, Kristana Loken, the master of holding someone hostage for 2 seconds. You might know her from Terminator 3 or Blood Rain, but she does something pretty different here than she did in those two roles. Acting. Granted, I haven't seen her in too much, but her role here as the thief Taja is my favorite thing I've seen her do. And as I said before, Zero might not be the strongest character, but at least he can do his own stunts.
What to do, what to do. The Baron could use some kitchen help.
I'd rather die.
And you will if you can't cook.
Oh, so the penalty for thievery is slave chef or death. Yeah, I don't quite get the laws of Conquest Land.
Come here, I want to show you something.
You've been practicing?
So have I, Kung Lao! Wow!
Yeah. What, scared I can beat you now? Don't look so surprised, Kung Lao. You're a very good teacher.
Not a very good voiceover teacher, though, it seems. But bland and lame line delivery is Kung Lao's type as long as they don't wear too much, so he goes over to ask her dad for a marriageality. And we see Chris Casamassa, Scorpion from the first film, working as a bodyguard here. And yes, he plays Scorpion as well again. And no, it's not a dual role. You'll see.
I've become very close to your daughter.
Is that so?
And I'm ready to dedicate my life to Jen's happiness.
Is that so? And what are your financial prospects, Kung Lao? Just how much does that temple pay you to save the world? If you're serious about marrying Jen, You have to put aside this foolishness.
But Baron, how can you ask me to abandon my faith?
Well, you do know that monks aren't supposed to marry at all, right? Oh yeah. Well, fuck my faith in that regard. But as it turns out, being the Mortal Kombat champion doesn't pay the bills, so it's no dice. Down in the mines where Shao Kahn sent Shang Tsung for being bad, he meets up with Queen Cameltoe, Vorpax, and they make a deal to start a cultural DVD set for children. Or he makes her help him get revenge on Kung Lao, something like that. So what's their brilliant scheme for getting Kung Lao this week gonna be?
This trinket.
Go closer.
You are seconds away from annihilation.
No, please, anything but that!
This is the Scorpio, stolen by Khan from a conquered realm.
Yes, that's right. Scorpion is an actual scorpion. No, Conquest. Bad. Bad. You know what you did. Bad. For those of you not familiar with Scorpion's origins, which is probably most of you, they are not this, even remotely. Scorpion was a man named Hanzo Hasashi, who would not even be born until long after the Kung Lao this series is based on was dead. He was killed by the Elder Sub-Zero and then given the chance to return while he was in the Netherrealm as the Spectre Scorpion to get revenge for his clan and family. And like a lot of other Mortal Kombat media besides the games, Conquest portrays Scorpion as a straight-up villain when in the actual series, he's more of an anti-hero. But anyway, Jen is finding it kind of cold out tonight, so she's putting some beads on over her underwear when Kung Lao says, "Hey, let's run away!" Then Zero says, "No, don't," and then Jen says, "Please," and he's like, "Okay." But Shang Tsung then makes a deal with Scorpion to annoy Kung Lao, so sends it over to Takeda, where it goes into him, I guess, and Takeda slowly starts to turn into Scorpion from the games, kinda.
That will not happen. No fruit tonight. I'm hungry for something else. Something new.
You've got a real way with women.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, could you please stop raping the staff? I mean, I know we made her your cooking slave, but I'm not sure even our fucked up laws cover your ass on this one.
I order you to let us go!
Damn you. And while Takeda is continuing his transformation into Scorpion, even his clothes are slowly transforming with him as you see yellow blotches on there. So I really want to know, if Scorpion put on other clothing, would it always start to turn yellow? And when he does actually have the mask, did he grow it?
You should not have ignored my warnings, Kung Lao. Tomorrow, you die.
Oh, apparently Baron Von Rape can just invent the law as he goes. So now it's up to the God of Useless to save Kung Lao. But of course, instead, he's going to appear to Taja and Zero to convince them to go save Kung Lao, because he's lazy. Also, he does this under the guise of a beggar. Why? I don't know. I guess Raiden thinks a beggar is more convincing than appearing to them as the God of Thunder. Listen to me! I am Raiden, God of Thunder! Nah. Okay, I'm just some hobo. Oh, tell me what to do, great hobo! Luckily, Kristana Loken's martial arts double shows up just in time to save Paulo Montalban's martial arts double so they can give themselves something to do with a really extended fight sequence. And they take off, only to remember they forgot Jen, who was right beside them and could have left with them, but instead stood there with a spear to her father's throat, cause, yeah, Baron Von Rape would have totally kicked the Mortal Kombat champion's ass if she had lowered that spear. So yeah, they have to go right back there to get Forgotten Girlfriend just to find out that Baron Von Rape is surprisingly not a very good father, as he has left Jen tied and gagged for hours just on the off chance Kung Lao would be stupid enough to do what he's doing here.
It's me, Kung Lao.
Well, thank you for that.
Your soul belongs to Shang Tsung.
So Scorpion can proxy steal souls for Shang Tsung? Was he hold the soul up his butt and fart it back out to him later? Or does he swallow it and then regurgitate it and feed it to him like a bird? Yes, the fart theory was my first one. Shut up.
That's enough, Takeda. Take him away. I said enough.
Oh, I didn't know you stole souls now, Takeda, but really, not now, please.
Stop this sorcery.
Kung Lao, come quick, the Baron's dying!
And you're concerned about that, Taja? You do remember he just tried to rape you a couple scenes ago, not to mention threatened death on almost everyone else in the show.
Save my Genevieve.
You just left her tied up for hours to keep Kung Lao away from her. Yeah, apparently getting killed in such a silly manner has made Baron Von Rape do a complete character switch, even freaking asking Kung Lao to forgive him.
I was wrong.
I don't have time for one of your lectures.
If you've listened to my last lecture, Kung Lao, you may not be in this situation now.
Yes, because if Kung Lao had fully accepted his role as Mortal Kombat champion, Shang Tsung would never put a scorpion in a guard's body to get revenge. God of useless. Then Scorpion shows off his power he's never demonstrated in anything else or ever will again in this series by taking over others to create minor nuisances, as they'll kind of swat at you a couple times while you run by them. Well, maybe that's why Scorpion doesn't really use that power.
Takeda is no more.
So wait, was everyone else just saying Takeda's name wrong and he wasn't correcting them? Or does Takeda not know how to say his own name right?
I am Scorpion.
Whoever you are.
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 Seriously, he just said his name. No need to be so rude, Kung Lao.
I'm going to kill you, Kung Lao.
Okay, I'll just assume that Takeda or Scorpion or whoever he is now just can't say anything right since he says kill like some over-the-top cartoon villain.
Get over here.
Does Scorpion have two voices or something? I thought Takedo's was no more.
I'm going to kill you, Kung Lao. Get over here.
Well, one thing he still has, of course, is that stupid serpent instead of the spear, because the spear would be too violent, or they really need to have that running away from the serpent thingy scene again. Oh, and he can apparently shoot fireballs now. But don't worry, they're only lethal to extremely stupid, weak and bland girlfriend characters. Yup.
Is it over? Did I kill him?
No, Jen, getting shot by his fireball doesn't kill him. Fuck, you're stupid and bland. Oops. Anyway, Kung Lao finishes Scorpion off with some flippy kick thing, which only finishes him off because the ground underneath him decides to open up. Why? I have no idea. Scorpion isn't dead or anything. He shows up again in this series, so if this is one of his special powers, he might want to give that one back. Unless that was one of Takeda's special powers.
Takeda is no more.
Whatever. Wrapping up the first episode, it starts setting up some general things for the series, like the oversized key that Jen gave to Kung Lao before dying of stupidity apparently constitutes a deed, and Kung Lao now owns Baron Von Rape's place. But he's gonna need a couple wacky roommates.
Kung Lao! Kung Lao?
Yeah, I'm right in front of you. Why are you yelling?
I just want to do something useful for a change.
Very admirable.
Look, I'm offering you my help, Kung Lao.
So where are you up to now, Zero?
Well, I was just planning to stand around awkwardly just off screen during conversations from now on.
I'm sure I'll find work in Shu Sin. Cleaning sewers, something prestigious like that.
Zero.
Zero, I could always use my sewers cleaned. And thus sets up our main cast group. Taja joining because she wants to do something better with her life, and Zero cause, well, he's got nothing better to do.
You're not the only warrior imprisoned here by Shao Kahn. Over the years, he's imprisoned hundreds of fighters.
Build an army.
Considering raising this army plan is never mentioned again, I like to imagine that they're all just really inept fighters tripping over themselves, so Shang Tsung just quietly buried that plan. Warrior Eternal does a pretty good job of setting up what Conquest will be, both its strengths and weaknesses, and oh boy, its cheesiness. Strengths of this episode were the dimension to Kung Lao's character, with the plight of getting roped into more than he wanted to by being the Mortal Kombat champion, and his battles with Shang Tsung and Scorpion had some really good moments. Jeff Meek was solid as Raiden and Shao Kahn. Also, Bruce Locke is a decent Shang Tsung, though he doesn't have all that much to do in this episode after losing in the tournament. What could have been a little better was the development of Taja, seeing as she's going to be one of our main characters, but it was hardly the worst development we've seen. It also still irks me that we never see Kung Lao don this getup again. Not saying it had to be all the time, but he could have put it on once in a while. Same goes for Raiden's hat and Shao Kahn's actual Shao Kahn mask. I mean, they had them made, they were right there. Also, the fight scene after saving Kung Lao from execution could have really been cut down, as it starts to drag on and it never really does much with its time. Weaknesses! Jen! Just her in general! Sorry. Just every line she delivers sounds like she's just reading it off the script with no meaning. And the development of Zero, which is to say there was no real development of Zero. He was a guard and he joins Kung Lao at the end cause, well, it beats standing over Jen's dead body pretending he still has a job. And the major stupid for this episode? Jen!
Yeah. What, scared I can beat you now?
And of course, Scorpion is an actual scorpion that possesses someone else's body. Just wow. If you're gonna watch Mortal Kombat Conquest, well, there's only one season, and why wouldn't you watch the first episode? This episode's got some pretty interesting and funny parts, but it's also got parts that are very skippable and don't really have an impact on the rest of the series. Next time on Conquest, we see Sub-Zero with his heart so cold as ice.
Why do they never listen to me?
Seriously, why would I keep wearing this hat in this series? It doesn't even have a blade on it. Stupid.